Hello, everyone. Today, we are delighted to welcome Ms. Sweta Nair, an advocate whose journey reflects the growing international outlook of the Indian legal profession. After completing her BBA LL.B from the Gregorios College of Law, she pursued an LL.M in maritime law from the prestigious City University of London, where she specialized in subjects including marine insurance, international commercial arbitration, world trade law, and international trade law. During her time in the UK, she gained practical legal experience through the City Community Legal Advice Center and served as student director at the Environmental Law Advice and Policy Clinic, working closely with solicitors and clients on complex legal issues. Since returning to India, she has been practicing with United Maritime Law Chambers, representing cargo interests and charterers while working on admiralty and commercial disputes before the High Court of Kerala. Her journey offers valuable insights into studying law abroad, building an international legal career, and finding opportunities in India's rapidly evolving maritime sector. We are delighted to welcome you, ma'am.
Thank you so much for that wonderful introduction, Ritu. It's a great opportunity for me to really be upfront and talk about maritime law. So thank you so much.
So, ma'am, to start with today's session, many Indian law students dream of pursuing an LLM abroad. What inspired you to choose the UK, and why did you specifically select maritime law?
So, first of all, I got introduced to the whole concept of maritime law when I did a workshop during my LL.B program. And initially, these were just new terms for me when I attended the workshop. Terms like shipper, consignee, charterer, etc. So it made me think that I should basically explore a territory which wasn't so delved into by the other law students, because I had my own batchmates who were more into criminal law or civil law, which was something that sounded a little bit that everyone was doing. So just to try something that was a little bit new for me for a change, that's why I entered the workshop. But it ended up turning into my passion. And when it comes
Mm,
to why I chose UK for LLM, I honestly thought that going to somewhere outside India would give me a little bit of a practical insight in terms of dealing with any subject, because I feel the studies that happen abroad, they kind of enable us to critically analyze more than just stick to pen and paper exams. So that was something that I wanted to do for sure right after my BBLLB.
right. And since you mentioned UK, why did you choose City University of London over other universities offering LLM programs?
So, City University of London stuck out to me from the whole list of universities that I applied to, only because it was the main hub of this London. Because it's based, if you actually look at it in a map, it's literally in zone one. So it was, honestly speaking, the 22-year-old me was a little bit curious to explore the whole city of London, as well as be able to be around Lloyd's market.
Mhm.
So even though it's like a commercial hub, but at the same time, it was something that attracted me because I am someone who has grown up listening to many English artists. So for a hot minute there, I thought that it's something that is quite enriching experience, because I could have a best of both worlds. I could still learn a lot
Right.
about the maritime law market, as well as have a good set of years in my 20s. So yeah, insurance clubs from many countries, they have their own little like cubes in Lloyd's market. If uh,
Okay.
you may know, like basically Lloyd's market is like the main hub of insurance market. So I remember going there for a tour via my university, because the university has like a lot of connections with many important financial institutions and legal institutions. And City University is from where even Jawaharlal Nehru graduated, and Margaret Thatcher went to this law school. So it was something that was like, why not? So yeah, it was a no brainer for me.
Right. And in your LLM, you had subjects like marine insurance, international commercial arbitration, world trade law. So, which of these subjects during your LLM have been the most useful in your professional career?
See, when it comes to subjects, I don't think you can pick and choose which one's more important or more applicable when it comes to legal practice. It depends from case to case. So, like, you never know if you're dealing with something that's in um, more into international commercial arbitration. So, you'll be using a lot of um, these statutes which may also be delving into marine insurance. So it's like you can never like pick and choose. It will always be like an amalgamation of these subjects. So there is not more or less of something, but everything at the same time, if I may say so myself.
Right. You know, what challenges did you face as an Indian student adjusting to legal education and life in London?
Yeah, so about that, see, not it's not just about being an Indian student. I feel like any international student, if they go anywhere else that's not home, first thing you might feel is homesickness, which is very obvious.
Mm.
That's everyone. But then at the same time, I feel like being in London studying LLM made me grow thick skin and become more resilient, because it's not just the education part that you will be dealing with, it's the financial hardship, because rupees
Mm.
converted into pounds is like a very hard ordeal that you'll have to deal
Yeah.
with on a daily basis. So be ready to take up any job that could make your ends meet is something that I learned.
Ma'am, many students struggle to find internships while studying abroad. How did you secure opportunities at the City Community Legal Advice Center and the Environmental Law Advice and Policy Clinic?
So what I did was I used to participate in a lot of seminars and workshops organized by City University, and that's how I came across these uh, almost like these promotional posters and advertisements that were displayed on the screen of City University by Miss Sally Gill. So she was my mentor basically. She guided me into how it's very easy for any LLM student to enroll into this volunteer work, where we learned how to help people fill in forms like PIP, which is basically an assistance provided to people with disabilities by filling in this personal independence forms. And then we were basically made to do any sort of clerical work as well, aside from the research part of it. And they helped us basically train us how to be of any help to solicitors, and how the whole legal team is relying on paralegals mostly. So it made
Mm.
me gain huge respect for paralegals in general. So yeah, it was a great experience because it made me realize what kind of problems are faced by the people in England when it comes to housing and personal injury as well as employment. Basically,
Mm.
um, even business related matters for that matter, like local businesses. So it was fruitful.
Right. So, looking back, do you think pursuing an LLM in the UK was worth the financial investment?
Yes, definitely. Because the thing is, I got what I wanted. I honestly just needed a little bit of this understanding of how to be more of an analytical person in terms of being a student, and not just someone who rote learns everything. Because being an LLM student in the UK makes you not be so laid back and rely on textbooks. You sort of have
Mm.
to research everything, even from the point from writing your own dissertations on how to do Oscola, or even how to even approach these books written by Jason Chua for that matter. You are not spoon fed anything. So
Mm.
it's something that I learned in terms of having a practical understanding of the subject and not just the concept conceptual understanding of the subject, which is something that I felt I might not have been able to achieve if I would have studied here. And also at the same time, I feel like the programs provided by City University, which is by
Mm.
the way right now City St. George University, they have these seminars conducted throughout the year where they help you network with people from various organizations. So for instance, I have attended seminars where literally one of she was the seventh female president of the London's Law Society, Lubna Shuja. I have seen her in person, so I was basically awestruck. So these are the sort of opportunities, like, you get to
Right.
converse with such people, um because you are part of such a prestigious institution. So these are the kind of chances you might not be able to achieve if uh, we were to study in our own home country.
True. And after completing an LLM abroad, many graduates face the dilemma of staying overseas or returning to India. What factors influenced your decision to come back?
So basically, the whole decision of coming back or staying in the UK, in my case, so it wasn't something that was decided like impulsively. But to be very honest, I had a very streamlined plan. I wanted to not have a gap in my CV. So the thing is, if I were to stay back in London and not um, do anything law related, I felt that that was
Mm.
waste of time for me, regardless of what the nature of the job I was doing. So if, for instance, you are somebody who is into the whole idea that you want to live in the UK, or you want to experience what life could be by working there, then it's great for you. Maybe you can try out other avenues wherein, like, I am personally speaking, like during my time, there were many roles available for claims manager. So even if someone like me, I was in maritime law, so even if I wasn't able to secure jobs in the legal part of the team, so maybe you could actually have like a foot in the door technique by stepping into the insurance market. So yeah, but
Okay.
if that's something you're not into, you can come back like me, because that's what I did. I was somebody who was so determined to basically be a lawyer. Like, I had already finished my ABE exam, so it didn't make sense for me to stay back. And I came
Mm.
back, and now I'm part of United Maritime Law Chambers, and I'm very happy.
Wonderful. Did your UK LLM give you a significant advantage while applying for jobs in India, or do employers still prioritize practical experience?
I feel like there's no yes or a no. I mean, like, you can't choose in this, because the thing is, employers, they do value international degrees, but at the same time, a lot of the times when I was applying, I've noticed that they prefer having practical experience. So I would say that mm it's not about where you get your degree from, but at the same time, if you have extracurricular in your CV, that would add a lot of value to your skill set. So that is something I would recommend, that you should prioritize rather than a degree or like experience. So like, improve your skill set and your CVs. So yeah.
Right. And in your experience, which areas in India value an international LLM the most?
I feel like mostly the metropolitan cities, but at the same time, I would also say, when it comes to the jobs that you are actually applying to, it comes down to how well you do the tests and the interviews. Because
Mm.
it's one thing to have a good degree from like a prestigious institution,
Mm.
but then at the same time, it's about the applicability of your education.
Right.
Like, how well are you with your problem solving skills, how good you are with presenting yourselves in terms of situational issues. So if you're given a problem, how easy it is for you to analyze the situation. So, and also the conceptual understanding. So if you're able to ace well in your uh, these tests, like I mean, even interview, when it comes to that, I feel like you should be able to have that skill in you to sort of sell yourself in a way that it gives the employer a little bit of a potential in you they can see. So yeah.
Got it. And ma'am, for students planning to return to India after studying abroad, what skills should they develop during their LLM to stand out in the Indian legal market?
I think the most important skill that any student coming back to India would be to develop the skill of networking. Because I feel like if
Mm,
you talk to the right person about yourself, um, how you developed your skill set and what makes you worth this whole position, and in a way that you fit the bill, and it could
yeah,
be your degree, it could be your extracurriculars, anything. So it all starts from how you are able to portray yourself when it comes to the test, the interviews, etc. So it comes from you first.
right. Uh, so, ma'am, with India's growing focus on ports, shipping, and global trade, how prepared is our legal framework to support India's ambition of becoming a global maritime hub?
So, our legal frameworks are shifting their focus more onto assimilating the international conventions. For instance, we have more new laws coming up. As in 2025, we did get so many new laws that kind of repeal the colonial acts. For instance, the Merchant Shipping Act, Coastal Shipping Act, even the Bill of Lading Act, which actually enforce this whole focus on digitalization of bill of lading, which is the
Mhm.
electronic bill of lading. And I feel like it's more so to do with the practical application as an implementation of these laws, which is something that the emerging blue economy will have to focus more on. And I feel like, especially in Kerala, the upcoming Virinyam port is more
Mm,
of a huge opportunity which is going to open doors to international trade in a major way. And I feel like it may be in no time that Kerala would also be a huge commercial hub just like Singapore.
right. And what advice would you give to law students who want to enter maritime law but have no maritime background?
So, like any other subject, I feel like a basic conceptual understanding is a primary building block of any branch of law, be it civil law or criminal law. So, I feel like the sooner you enter this whole arena of understanding the basic concepts, for instance, what is a time charter, what is voyage charter, how is a dispute resolved when it comes to any damages if it occurs to the cargo, how are the contracts supposed to be analyzed. So yeah, so it all comes down to how well you understand the basic concepts of maritime law. So the sooner you
Mm,
delve into, the better it will be for you to mold yourself into a great maritime lawyer.
right. And during your journey, you have worked with courts, commissions, NGOs, legal clinics, and now a specialized law chamber. Which experience had the biggest impact on your growth as a lawyer?
I feel like I cannot really pick and choose, but to be honest, right now, the role that I am performing right now, like as an associate at UMLC, it gives me this huge window of opportunity because we are a boutique law firm. So I'm not
Mm,
just doing a single task every day in repetition, so it's never monotonous. So we deal with commercial litigation matters. Some days we are doing arbitration. So I'm never bored basically.
right. Global events like the Red Sea crisis, the Russian Ukraine conflict, and disruptions in the Suez Canal and Strait of Hormuz have affected international shipping. And these geopolitical developments change the kind of legal disputes Indian maritime lawyers are dealing with.
Definitely. I mean, in terms of the cases, as in it does affect the Indian seafarers or any seafarers for that matter, because I feel like the geopolitical tensions has not only affected just Indian seafarers, it has affected anybody, regardless of seafarers or not, because when it comes to shippers
Hmm.
or consignors, they themselves have to look into this direction of how to protect themselves if war risks occur. So there's this force
Hmm.
majeure clause which acts like a protection so that a vessel can actually deviate for safety. So it's more or less like these clauses which protect the interests of all the concerned parties. But then at the same time, there has been uprising in terms of the safety of seafarers, is something that I would like to majorly focus on, because I feel like their safety is being more compromised for just commercial goods to be transported. They are the
Hmm.
ones who are actually dealing with places which are dangerous, and they are being the targets of drone attacks.
Yeah.
So even for instance, when we talk about the Russian Ukrainian conflict, there was a time when I believe it was in July 2026 during the Black Sea, um, this whole trade route. I believe there was this case that came up called MV Amorphy in July 2026, when one Indian seafarer actually ended up dying. So it is high time that,
Yeah.
since even Supreme Court gave this judgment that there needs to be uh, more of this kind of assistance given to the grieving family. There was a direction
Yeah.
actually given to the Ministry of External Affairs to extend the assistance. So yes, there has
Hmm.
been a lot of effect suffered by the seafarers, to be honest, more so.
Right. And finally, ma'am, if you had one piece of advice for every Indian law student considering an LLM in the UK, what would it be and what common mistakes should they avoid?
So, the advice that I would like to give is basically just be resilient. Honestly speaking, this is like one golden opportunity to achieve as much as you can soak in terms of your capabilities. Like, just hone your skills, because this is basically this time that you will only get to create this sense of ability, and also to gain some sort of self confidence, because you'll be out there on your own. You have to
Hmm.
look after your own self aside from just the studies. So don't just prioritize education but your mental health as well. Don't compromise on that. So have a little bit of everything, like a well balanced this focus on your studies as well as career. And one mistake that I think that I made was probably not be able to open out yourself to the, how should I say it? To put it in such a manner, maybe I felt that I probably didn't open out myself to the public when
Hmm.
it comes to like networking.
Hmm.
So I think that you should put yourself out more, whether it may be seminars or workshops. Like, don't just go
Hmm.
there to get an insight, maybe participate more. So I feel like
Hmm.
if you are someone who can um, overcome your inhibitions and just step out and talk to these important figures, you might end up in great places.
Noted, ma'am. And thank you so much, ma'am. With that, we come to an end. Thank you so much for sharing your insights and experiences so openly. Your words of advice are going to inspire a lot of our viewers. You've been incredibly kind and generous with your time and guidance here today. We really appreciate it. We really appreciate it. Thank you, and we wish you the very best.
Thank you so much, Ritu, for having me. Thank you.